someone named Abigail, who drove in from Pennsylvania with her family today. Abigail is 17 and a junior in high school. Her mom and dad, as I said, came here today from Pennsylvania. She has a 19-year-old sister, 14-year-old brother, along with 2 dogs, Hank and Phoebe. She loves lacrosse and has hobbies of painting and drawing. Shh, please. This is a very special teenager. Abigail was diagnosed with papillary thyroid cancer at 15 years old. She received our teen support bag through Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania, which she would tell you more about. Abigail came to us first in January of this year when she emailed us that she wanted to do a fundraiser for Bite Me Cancer with her lacrosse team and school. We emailed back and forth on that day, gave her fundraiser link on our peer-to-peer page, and she set up her page that same day, which impressed me. 2 days later, she was well on her way with ideas and options, and we emailed more to come up with what might work, what we could send her. Shirts, wristbands, whatever we could. She designed some flyers with a QR code to pass out around the school, and she set her goal for $500. And a week before the game, she had already had a goal, or had reached $535. The goal increased, of course, and she will tell you what happened. Within the next few months, she planned out the fundraiser, chose April 10th for the game. Amazing things happened with her team and her coaches. And after the event, she sent me photos, which we highlighted on her social media. And I'll tell them. You raised $2,230. I very much enjoy talking, and I've been very impressed with Abigail, and have enjoyed also talking to her mom on Zoom a handful of times over the past few months. And we were really lucky that we could have Nikki with us when we announced to Abigail that she would have our first Teen Impact Award. To prepare this introduction, I asked Abigail's mom for a little extra perspective, and this is what she shared. And you didn't know this part. Abigail tackled her diagnosis by doing a great deal of research and relying on facts about papillary thyroid cancer to us. She learned all about the science behind the treatments and became extremely interested in understanding the biology related to her diagnosis. She was also very focused on getting back on the lacrosse field and was determined to plan surgeries and treatment around her lacrosse schedule. This gave her a goal and a positive thing to look forward to. Art was her creative outlet, and she even did a painting that directly related to her diagnosis. I am very proud of her. And then, when she shared her plans to give back, to show her gratitude for Bite Me Cancer, we were again just very proud. So, for me, I must say that Abigail isn't receiving this award just for her fundraising efforts. She is a shining light. She has shown perseverance and dedication, along with her commitment to help Bite Me Cancer and share her story. I'm sure her friends, family, and teammates have learned from Abigail's journey, and it's not just about cancer. And now, here's Abigail.
For this opportunity and for all that each of you do for this community. When I was first asked to speak, I was prompted to tell 2 stories. The story of my cancer journey and the story of the fundraiser I did. First, I'd like to add one more story. Every kid with cancer knows the look on people's faces when they stop seeing you as a person and instead they see you as a patient. I don't want all of you to look at me like that. My whole life means so much more than just having cancer. I'm an honors student at Garden Valley High School. I've always wanted to be a doctor to help all the people that I can. I have a best friend that I would do anything for. I'm an art student and I love to create things. I've always loved kids, and I've worked at the same summer camp for the past 2 years. I've struggled with my mental health for years. I play lacrosse, and I've made a family out of my small JV team. There's so much more to me than just the 2 stories I'm going to tell you. So remember that I've lived a life before cancer, I've lived a life during cancer, and I've been living my life after cancer too. No one has ever asked me what the worst part of having cancer was. Some may think it's the first day the idea gets brought up to you, or maybe when the news is confirmed. But to be honest, that wasn't even close. The day I was told I most likely had thyroid cancer, I didn't cry a single tear. I didn't cry the day after that, or the next day. The only time I actually remember genuinely crying was because I thought I was going to miss my bio keystone exam. Which, for those of you who didn't go through the great Pennsylvania public school system, is a standardized test that you have to take. There are many makeup opportunities, but I really wanted to do it that first try. Being told that I had thyroid cancer wasn't the hardest, because I made the choice very quickly it wasn't going to affect me. I made the choice that people weren't going to know what I was going through. And I made the choice to be strong with the support of my family. Still, I couldn't hide this from everyone. The hardest moment, harder than waiting to be cleared out of a CT scan, or feeling the literal lump in my throat after knowing it was cancer, was telling my best friend. My best friend Haley is an angel, but she worries like crazy. I love her so much. So I told her the day after I was told. She isn't a person I can keep things from. We were in her room, and I said I needed something. It was a t-shirt, because we were baking bread, I think. I got stuff on my clothes, so I was like, might as well just tell her if cancer So I gave her a hug, and I said, I was going to be okay. I said, there's a 98% chance nothing bad happens to me. Now, I really like statistics, but she could only see that 2%. I didn't say the word cancer that day. I didn't have to. She asked me what stage it was, and I didn't have an answer. The news wasn't even confirmed. I told her not to look anything up, because the difference between teenage thyroid cancer and adult thyroid cancer is scarily insane. She didn't listen to me, and woke me up with FaceTime calls at 2 a.m. for weeks. Occasionally, I do still get them because she stays up very late, and I go to bed at 9:30 every night. She still hates it when I joke about the experience, or really even when I talk about it. So much so that if anything ever happened again, I really don't think I could be the one to tell her. I got an ultrasound on February 12th, 2024. My dad has thyroid problems, so I didn't really expect much going in. I didn't cry when Dr. Bauer told me he was convinced I had thyroid cancer. I didn't look at my parents because I could sense the tears welling up in their eyes. I don't think I said anything for the rest of that appointment. My mom sat in the back of the car with me on the way home. All I remember saying is, I'll look great college essay. All I remember thinking,
go girl.
All I remember thinking, just hoping that I would make it to college. On February 26th, 2024, I had a biopsy done on the tumor and a few lymph nodes. 2 days later, my mom told me I definitely had thyroid cancer. I didn't say anything that car ride home either. And once again, I didn't cry. On March 22nd, I had surgery, where my whole thyroid and my beautifully grown 1-inch where tumor was removed. That was the first time anything really felt real. By this time, sure, I'd cried a few times. More people were starting to find out what was really going on. The constant little steps of everything were tearing me apart. And I really thought that this would be the last one. For 4 days. Until I didn't take my own advice and I went on the internet. I learned that most people, about 50% with papillary thyroid cancer, have to have radiation therapy. I didn't bring this up to my family or my friends. I kept it to myself. Going to the next appointment, I was prepared to be told everything bad. And on April 1st, I was told I needed at least 1 round of radioactive iodine treatment. I knew this was going to happen. I would still swear that going into that appointment, I could feel the cancer in my neck. I knew it was still there. April 1st was also the day that I received a baby cancer teen support bag. To be honest, like some teens, I was just mad about the fact I had to do more treatment. But this gave me more to think about. I started researching baby cancer later that day. I was impressed by the whole story, and I wore my merch from that bag proudly. On May 22nd, I got my first CT scan. I was given radioactive iodine, and after 3 weeks being on an iodine-free diet, which is pretty much salads with no dressing, some chicken, some fresh fruit, and notice how I said 3 weeks? Yeah, because they were out of radioactive iodine, so got pushed back a week. You know, it's supposed to only be 2 weeks, still salty about that, it's fine. Yeah. It's definitely ready to be done with that diet. 3 more days I had to wait while sitting in my room being literally radioactive and people sending me that song, Radioactive. Yeah, my friends are hilarious. But really, in those 3 days, I've never felt sicker. I truly felt like the typical cancer patient for the first time. The most I could really do was get out of bed. One of my friends told me I needed to get dressed every day to keep my spirits up. So I'd get dressed, then I would take an hour-long nap because it took a lot of energy to get dressed. On May 29th, I got my last CT scan, and I was cleared for the next few months. Then, on February 24th, 2025, I was officially placed into remission. Those 12 months changed my life. I was lucky. I only had 4 months of real treatment. Looking back, it felt like years. Like I said before, and like Sharon said, I played for my school's lacrosse team. My life had been consumed by cancer for months, and I knew I couldn't just let this go. Baby cancer had been in the back of my head since April 1st, along with holding a permanent position on both my dad and I's wrists via the bracelets given in the teen support bag. September 16th, 2024, was the day I first reached out to our head coach, Jennifer Dooley, to see if I could plan a fundraiser through the lacrosse team for baby cancer. I researched and explained the amazing family and team behind this organization, and pitched the idea to the booster club of our team. They immediately and enthusiastically replied yes. In the next few months, after getting a green light or blue. It felt so good to finally have something to fully commit myself to, in a way I had never done before. I talked to teachers and staff at my school to see what the best way to get the word out was. I drafted and redrafted emails months before I had to send them out, and made 20 different camera graphics that I only used 2 of. On January 7th, I reached out to Sharon to see if there was any help I could get directly from the organization. I was welcomed to the team with open arms and felt every word of her emails. Throughout the whole time, I was communicating just with Sharon, but I'd also gotten the opportunity to speak with Vicky and her dad a few times, and you can really tell how wonderful of a family they are. After talking with Sharon, I felt more confident than I had since getting diagnosed. All I wanted to do was make the light out of a bad situation, and I would have never been able to do that without my knee cancer. Sharon sent over 40 t-shirts for the coaches and girls on the team to wear, along with 100 wristbands to give out, and the actual fundraiser was on April 10th, 3 months after I was put into remission. Now, the lacrosse team has done many games like this, along with other school teams, and they go pretty much like this. The club sends out an email with a Venmo link. They set up a table at one of our games, give us all some fun colored ribbon to wear, and the club tries to get people to donate while we play our game. I looked at this format and didn't know what else to change. So, I put up a few flyers, linked the game, sent out a short email to the school district. Typically, club fundraisers make about $100 at a game like this, selling snacks and t-shirts. Overnight, though, we made $1,000 that went directly to my knee cancer. Just with the email going to teachers, staff, and students, we'd already doubled our original goal of $500. The game was still 4 days away. By the end of the game, we raised a total of $2,230. Almost multiplying our goal by 5. I couldn't have done this without my community, my family, and of course, the Viking Cancer Organization. This organization truly does uplift and empower teens with cancer, put a smile on each of our faces. I can't thank all of you enough for what you do for this community. We may still go into every appointment expecting the worst, but thanks to all of you, we can go into those appointments with our chins held up by other people when they're too heavy for us to carry ourselves. I know that I can walk in to every appointment knowing I've at least made a small difference in the community I care most about. Now, at the beginning of this, I told you I wanted to share 3 stories. Going through this experience, partnering with fighting cancer, involving my community and friends, and being supported by all of them, has allowed me to create my story that I am truly proud to share. Thank you all so much for letting me do so with you.